Hi there, fellow travelers.
Hello.
I'm Neil.
And I'm Kimberly.
And this is
To Travel and Tour.
Join us today when I question Kimberly about her cruise on the MSC Meraviglia.
Yes, you heard Neil correctly. It was one of the rare occasions that I actually went on a cruise without Neil. So he's going to be asking all the questions that you want to know about how that trip was.
Interview style.
Yes.
I got my questions ready right here, so without further ado, let's get into it right away. What was your stateroom like?
The stateroom was very well appointed. I will say it did seem a little on the small side. From other staterooms that I have stayed in. We did have a balcony stateroom because I always book a balcony. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
The bathroom was a little small, but I guess it was standard size. But it just, the way it was laid out, seemed a little small.
I remember seeing that in the footage you took.
Yes.
Yeah, which we're actually going to share with you right here. Here, take a look. That was small indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So, would you say this was the smallest bathroom in a stateroom you've ever seen?
It's hard to say. They're all pretty small, but it definitely was not the biggest.
Right, yeah, obviously, yeah.
And the storage space was also limited.
In what way?
Well, they had some open shelving to set things on, but I have found in some other bathrooms there was more.
Yeah.
And also too is where the closet was in the main part of the cabin. There was an issue with the hangers and how they sat into the cupboards. And also what they gave you to use were very thick wooden hangers that everything slid off of. So I was really glad I did. One thing that I always do is I always bring with me when I travel those flat little hangers with the velvet on them.
Oh, that would explain why my suitcase always gets so heavy.
Yes. Actually, they're pretty light.
Yeah, but if you throw enough of them in there, along with all the other stuff you throw in my suitcase.
Yeah. But then I can hang my things in those cupboards.
All right. Next question for you. Of course, this is a major one.
Okay.
Because it is tradition, and I really hope it's going to remain tradition after everything that has happened.
In today's climate.
In
I know what
today's
you're going to ask
climate.
me.
Oh, do you? What am I going to ask you?
You're going to ask me about the buffet.
Point for you. Tell us about it.
The buffet was very nice. There was plenty to choose from. There was, I never really had a problem. The little sandwiches were quite good. I will say, as far as the selection of desserts, could have been a little better. But it was okay. There was never a time that I went hungry or couldn't find something to eat.
Now, when you say selections of desserts could have been better, do you mean there wasn't enough variety or did it simply not taste good?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both? Okay.
Definitely had better desserts on some other cruise lines.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I was looking at the footage you took here and it looked very similar to me compared to what I've seen and experienced on the MSC Divina.
Yes. It was similar, but not quite.
So what would you say the biggest differences were then?
At the buffet itself, I would say the quality of food.
Really?
Unfortunately, yeah. I think they were getting used to maybe being in America because this was only their second cruise in the States on the Meraviglia. So that might have been a little bit of a learning curve there.
Yeah.
To what the Americans were going to like.
Right.
But I generally like very European food.
This is true.
So I was kind of surprised that there were things that just didn't appeal to me.
Gotcha.
And not quite enough variety. I think that there were definitely more options on the Divina, believe it or not.
Really?
I think so.
And that's a smaller ship.
I know. It's odd, isn't it?
Very, very, very. So, well, now that we're talking about the buffet,
Yes.
MSC is, of course, known for their pizza.
Yes.
I have noticed that there is people that love the pizza on the MSC.
And people that hate it.
And people that hate it. So, what's your opinion on that?
I do like MSC pizza.
Okay.
I'm a fan. But I will say this too. The MSC versus the Divina, the pizza on Divina was better.
So yet another point for the Divina.
Yeah.
Wow. I wasn't really intending to set this up as Divina versus Meraviglia, but
it kind of works out that way.
Yeah, I guess it's hard not to if you have been on both ships.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So I'm still going to continue down with the food.
Okay.
So we have just talked about the buffet.
Yes.
And now I'd like to hear you about the main dining room.
The main dining room. The one thing I want to say is the service in the main dining room was absolutely fantastic.
That's great.
You couldn't ask for better. And we had the anytime seating.
Okay.
Which I do like. And it was quick, it was efficient, and polite.
That's important.
We had the same waiter and same assistant waiter every single evening, which was great. They got to know what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
When I would come in, they would pour me my glass of rosé. You want your rosé?
Yeah.
You know, here's some sparkling water because that's what I like. And they knew that. And so they were very attentive and even offered extra suggestions.
Wow, that's great. Okay, we're going to quit the food topic for now and move on with the next question. The MSC Meraviglia is famous for certain particular features.
Yes.
Not in the last place, the LED dome screen.
Yeah.
And when going through the footage you took of this particular area, I noticed you had some wonderful shots in there.
It's breathtaking.
And I'm like, it really looks like something. So what did you think of that area and the dome screen itself?
I really liked it.
Okay.
It was very beautiful and it changed all the time. And it also, they had different programs that kind of went with it and things like that. And that whole area is rather interesting because they have many different eateries, different shops, all of that. It's like a big gallery, like a galleria of shops and kind of, I'm going to say it's kind of like a mall.
That's what I heard. I've heard people say that it's very much like a mall.
Yeah, that area, but then you have that beautiful ceiling.
Yeah.
Which is the largest at sea, from what I've been told.
Oh, it is?
Largest LED screen at sea.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It really is. Now, with that being said, that area, when they have different events, gets very congested. So if you are trying to just get from point A to point B, you're not going to this event. You just want to go to some maybe a shop down on the other end.
Right.
It gets difficult.
I bet it does. Yeah.
Because of the amount of people that are in that area, because they actually have parties and things in that area. And there are the different like clubs that you would normally go into, maybe part of that area.
I see.
So it kind of spills, it's like open.
Oh, that helps.
Yes and no, because the busyness from what's going on this stage is spilling out into the whole area.
But wouldn't you want that to prevent it from all cluttering together in one spot?
You would think. But here's the thing. Like when we go on, I'm going to say it on the Divina, and we go to the Black and White Lounge. We're in the Black and White Lounge.
Yeah.
Everything going on in the Black and White Lounge is in the Black and White Lounge. If you're trying to walk from point A to point B, you are not being hindered by what's going on in the Black and White Lounge. Where if you're trying to walk from point A to point B through that main thoroughfare and there's something going on there, you're being hindered by it.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So, okay, moving on with the next question here. You went on what they would sometimes refer to as a cold cruise.
Yes, I did.
You went north instead of to the Caribbean.
Yes, I did.
And that being said, the weather wasn't always as great.
No.
In fact, you showed me some footage of some really rough tides, and
Yes.
have a look for yourself. This was pretty serious. So my question for you is, how did the MSC Meraviglia perform in rough weather?
I think they did very well. With that being said, you also should know that rough seas do not bother me.
Yeah, okay, but I'm not asking if it's not bothering you. I'm asking you to give me an objective verdict on the performance
It
of
did
the
good.
ship. Yeah?
It did very well.
So
It did very
you
well.
weren't being tossed from one end to the other?
No, there was one night that was a little rocky. When I was in bed, I felt like, ooh, that it was moving.
Okay.
But I mean, we had hit some pretty rough weather.
Right.
So that's nobody's fault, but the ship did really well.
Okay, that's good. Let's have a look here at the next question. Well, for the ultimate cruising experience, there needs to be great entertainment.
Yes.
Was that there?
Yes. I always enjoy the entertainment
Okay.
on MSC. Now, this is a little different than some of the other ships because they do have the regular theater
Yeah.
where you see the majority of the shows.
Correct.
Now, you are required to make a reservation.
For the theater?
Yes.
That's different.
Yeah, you can do it right from your TV. You can do it from one of the many big things in the hallways. They have those big screens. You can do it there. It's not a problem.
Okay.
But they require you to make a reservation, but they don't check to see if you have one.
And what's the point?
I don't know. But we did make reservations.
Okay.
And they also have the Cirque du Soleil
Oh, yes.
shows, and that's in a different area, and you do have to pay additional for those. I did not go. I heard mixed reviews on them. Some people said it was the best thing they've ever seen, and some people said it wasn't worth the money.
Now, was that the show where you could have a meal with the show?
Yes, you could do it with a meal or just with a drink. So different prices.
I would imagine. Okay, no, that's good to know. So, another very important aspect that people look at when they go on a cruise is the service. So, what was the service on the Meraviglia like?
Overall, it was pretty good.
Explain.
There were some issues. And I mean, I would be lying if I said that there wasn't.
Okay.
As I said, this was only the second time this ship had cruised in America.
Okay.
Okay, that with these two sailings were both out of New York. The one before us, which was the first time ever, and then our sailing.
All right.
Okay, so there were things that weren't put into the computers right, things like that made drinks wrong prices, and they weren't very good at fixing those things.
So they didn't get fixed at all?
Well, they did, but it required generally me standing in line for a very long time at guest relations, and I have footage of the lines.
Oh. Yeah, that's not
of
good.
how big these lines were, because these problems were ongoing and they were for a lot of the people there. One of the issues that I was having was they kept charging me for drinks that were included in my package.
Oh, I can see that being annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had to keep going and having them taken off.
Right.
So, and then I'd have to wait in line, and the thing was they were so busy they weren't answering the phone down there.
Ooh.
So you couldn't just call from your stateroom and say, "Hey, fix this," because they were so busy they weren't answering the phone. Now, like I said, overall, when I talked to somebody, I was greeted. They were very pleasant. So would I say that there's a problem with this? No. I think there were just some bugs that needed to be worked out. And from other people that I've talked to that have been on the Meraviglia since, it seems like they were worked out.
Okay, that's great. Well, then, of course, what do you think of the ship's appearance?
The ship is beautiful. I mean, you can't get around the fact that MSC knows what they're doing with aesthetics.
No. If my experience on the MSC Divina is anything to go by, and judging by the footage that I've seen that you recorded, it was no different on the Meraviglia.
It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, They're gorgeous ships. And you know what too is this ship being a newer ship too, is I'm going to say this. The furniture is all very functional and very comfortable.
That's good. Both functional and comfortable,
yes.
You're saying.
And that's the furniture all over the ship. And that is very much a point that I like to make.
Okay.
Because sometimes things are pretty and they're not very functional.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. And these are. It was good.
Okay.
Very good.
I've seen some really beautiful shots of the atrium you took.
Yes.
Of course, we're not going to deny you those shots.
Yes.
So do have a look here. That's just wonderful.
It is.
And I noticed that the staircase does have the Swarovski crystals in it.
Of course. It's
just like the Divina.
Yes.
Wow. I wasn't sure if that was just for the MSC Divina or for the MSC Meraviglia as well.
Meraviglia as well?
Both of them.
Beautiful, isn't it?
It's amazing, yeah, for sure. We have come to the last question of the interview.
Okay.
One more.
So
it being said that you have sailed on both the MSC Divina and the MSC Meraviglia.
Yes.
What were the biggest differences between the overall experiences you had on both ships?
Okay. One of the biggest differences in experience, I'm going to have to point out, is the spa.
What about it?
The spa on the Meraviglia is unbelievable. Okay?
Why?
Just unbelievable. They have the hot and cold areas.
Okay. Maybe you can explain a little bit what these hot and cold areas exactly are?
Okay. Like a sauna.
Okay.
And then they have the steam rooms. And then they actually have a room that's like snow.
Snow?
Snow.
Like they create a cloud and it starts snowing?
Okay, well, listen.
How does this work?
You go in, okay, because you what you're supposed to do is experience the warm area, one of the hot areas, and then go to one of the cold areas.
Yeah.
And go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And the one cold area is actually has, you sit in there and it's very cold in there. And they have that you can rinse yourself off with the cold water.
Okay.
And they have an area over here where they've actually made, it looks like snow cone snow.
Snow cone snow.
You know, like you would eat a snow cone.
Okay.
And you can rub that all over your body to make you cold quickly.
Isn't that really cold?
Yes, and it's really awesome. I didn't think it was going to be, but you know me, I have to try everything.
This is true.
And I really liked it. And they also had, in the spa, they had like shower things that you could start that you walked through, this one area, and it misted you, like with water. And you went from hot to cold, like it would be a hot one, less hot, then cold.
Oh, wow.
Or you could go the other way and start with cold and go work your way to hot. And they also had different whirlpools in there.
What do you mean different whirlpools?
They had like hot tubs.
Okay.
But they were different. And the one was the kind that had the like beds in it almost.
All right.
That you kind of laid in there with the water and all the bubbles. And they had wonderful people in there constantly keeping everything clean, constantly making sure everything was dry on the floors.
That's great.
It was really, really something.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah,
sure.
and of course, because we had the Aria package, we got a massage.
Mm-hmm.
And that was wonderful too. But the saunas and the hot and cold areas, very different from what's available on the Divina. The Divina does have, as you remember, a couple different saunas, but we didn't even really take advantage of that.
No, we didn't. It was just the massages.
It wasn't a whole lot.
No.
But this one, wow. So if you're a spa person, Meraviglia, you're going to like it. And also another big difference was the size of the ship, of course.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're talking, isn't this one of the biggest ships of MSC?
Yes.
Yeah.
So to get from point A to point B, you got an investment of time. But it's also beautiful. So it doesn't seem like it's so far.
I guess not. I mean...
And because it was a cold cruise, most of the people spent more time indoors. So that made it a little more complicated getting from point A to point B if you were going inside.
So about that, now that you mention it, it actually brings me to, let's say, a bonus question.
Oh.
Actually, I have two bonus questions.
Two?
But let's start with this one. I have exclusively done warm cruises.
I know. I've been with you.
You know that, they don't.
Okay.
Anyways, what I noticed is that when you're at sea and you're sailing from one place to another and the weather is nice, so a lot of people spend time outside,
Yes.
hanging around at the pool or just grabbing a drink, but overall just outside.
Mm-hmm.
But your cruise having been a cold cruise, what do you see people do most of the time?
Well, okay, it wasn't freezing cold because it was New England.
Okay.
I want to say that. It was New England and Canada.
All right.
So a lot of the time we had 40s and 50s with some wind.
Well, a lot of people consider that very cold.
Yes, I wear a sweater in that kind of weather.
Well, yeah.
Uh-huh. But one of the things that they did have, like around the pool, where they have all of the lounge chairs and things like that. Now, they did have some people that actually took a swim in the pool.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I think they had the pool heated up some.
It would have to have been.
It would have
I cannot
been.
see that being comfortable otherwise.
No, and they had it listed like what temperature the pool was. And people were also in the hot tubs. But you could also, instead of getting a beach towel, you could get a blanket.
That's interesting.
Out on the deck and actually wrap up in a blanket and sit outside and you read a book or play trivia, because they did trivia outside sometimes. And I will be honest, I took full advantage of my balcony as well, even though it was a cooler climate.
Then again, you're a balcony person.
I'm a balcony person, any kind of weather, I'm out there. I will say this, there were less people outside than on a warm cruise.
Well,
But I ate outside for breakfast every morning. From the buffet, I would go to the one back area that was outside on the back of the boat.
Okay.
And I would sit closer to the doors, so to say, or
Right.
to the wall of the ship, rather than all the way out.
Okay.
So I was a little more protected and wear a sweater and ate breakfast outside every morning. So that way, too, I wasn't in the crowded area of the buffet.
That helps.
Yes, which I enjoyed.
Okay, so we have moved on now to the final question. So this
is the final question.
Well, it should be the final
Unless you think of something else.
Yeah. But the one I have, you've experienced both ships now.
Yes.
Which of the two would you prefer to sail on again and why?
The Divina.
Still?
Still the Divina. Okay. It's no secret it's my favorite ship.
All right.
I would go on the Divina again tomorrow. How can I put this? There is a feeling on the Divina, the staff and everyone. It's just different than anything else I've experienced. And that's across all cruise lines. Now, do I plan on experiencing other MSC ships? You better believe it. Because I do like the ships. I do like the food overall.
I think we just would be interested in exploring just about any ship, to be honest.
Yes, yes. And that includes the MSC line.
Right.
And again, if you're not familiar with MSC, they are very international ships.
Yeah.
And that is not just the staff, that is also the clientele. A lot of Europe sails with MSC. So you do have the languages, all 5 languages, in every announcement.
Right.
Which is something I like. It makes me feel like I'm going somewhere.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. Yeah.
So that is something that's overall with MSC that people want to keep in mind. If that's something that bothers them, then it's probably not for you. But we like it. And like I said, you're going to have people that are talking French. You're going to have people that are talking German. Lots of German. And all other languages too. And they also do the shore excursions in some different languages as well, which I did want to mention because it's an MSC cruise.
Well, we have come to the end of the interview.
You have no more questions for me?
No more questions for you.
But if you have questions for me, please do ask them.
In the comments.
Yes, please.
So, is there anything you want to say in closing about the MSC Meraviglia?
Yes, I would like to reiterate that it is a beautiful ship. If you like big ships, it's definitely worth trying. And if you like the brand MSC, definitely try the Meraviglia. I think the problems that they had were growing pains as far as coming to the United States. So from what I'm hearing from other travelers, they did iron those out. So that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Well, we hope you enjoyed this interview of ours, a very different way of doing our video.
Yes.
But we thought in this case it was the right way to go. If you did, please don't forget to give our interview here a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Neil.
And I'm Kimberly.
And this is
To Travel and Tour.